Pelvic clocks. This exercise is particularly good if you need a little bit more mobility in your pelvis. So you're going to sit on your stability ball. Now you can use this ball for quite a few of the exercises in the program as you move through. So things like the arm weight series that you will come across at some point, your pole series, which again you will come across later on, and magic circle as well. You can do all of those exercises sitting on a ball, which creates a little bit of instability. But initially I would probably see how your pelvis is working and see how much movement you can get in your pelvis and mobilize it. Most of us have got these sitting, gathering dust in a shed somewhere or in a garage somewhere. So if you need to dust it off and bring it out, then dust it off, bring it out. I love this particular exercise because I think it really does help release tension. It also works on your pelvic floor, and you can really get that sense of movement without moving the ball too much. So you don't want to be rolling around. So it shouldn't look like this. Although as fun as this is great fun. If you are an equestrian and you're watching this, then this is a really good exercise. Doing stuff on the ball is actually really good for you and your sport because it has that slight movement in it that the horse would have. And you can create that rising trot from here. So let's look at pelvic clocks first. So we're going to take the hands onto the hips, and all we want to do is think about trying to draw the pubic bone to the nose, but without squeezing the bottom, just like you do on your mat, so pelvic tilts. And then you're going to release the pelvis back, so you're going to go into a little bit of hyperextension in the lower back, but stay lifted. So feel like the ribs and the hips are connected, but the tailbone is now reaching behind you. And then again, you're going to exhale, you're going to draw your pubic bone to your nose. Think about drawing your pelvic bones towards you, but without squeezing that bum. So try and stay on top of that ball, but without squeezing the bottom. There's some abdominal work going on there. And then we're going to inhale, we're going to lengthen, find that lengthening in the spine. And then again, exhale, drawing the pelvic bones underneath you. So you're trying to stay elevated, you're trying to stay and drawing in here, and then you're going to inhale and release it back. So that's your forwards and your backwards. So effectively your 12 o'clock and your 6 o'clock. So now we're going to look at 3 and 9. So here again, it's that feeling of shortening for the oblique. So just like you do in your side lift prep, you're going to think about drawing the hip to the rib on this side, and then you're going to bring your hip to the rib here. This stays nice and tall. You could put your arms out to the side if you wanted to add a little bit more balance. So you can keep your hands here. So now we're going to 3 and 9 o'clock. You're staying nice and lifted. And then you're going to bring everything back to center. So now we need to put the two together. And we're going to go around in a circle, which is why it's looking, you're aiming to try and hit every number on that clock face. So hands on the hips, here we go. So let's go to 12 o'clock first. So draw the pelvis underneath you, staying lifted. So really feel like you're doing this from your abdominals, not from squeezing your bum. So try and maintain this in the abs. And then you're going to go around, shortening here in the waistline. Now extension behind you, draw in here, and then back around to the front. Now let's change direction. We're going to go around to the side. And we're going to go around, really small, it's huge. Depends how much movement you've got in your pelvis, and back to center. The narrower you have your feet, the harder these exercises become. So if you start with fist, at least start with fist distance or slightly wider, so you can go quite wide here. You could do this in a chair if you found that this was uncomfortable on the ball or you felt unstable on the ball. Then you could do this sitting on a chair. You want to have your hips at the same height as your knees and your feet directly underneath, your heels directly underneath your knees. So you want to have that 90-degree angle. So if your ball's a little bit too small or too big, that kind of tells you where you are. You want to have plenty of air in it. So this was probably a little bit squishy today, but it's quite nice to be able to move around on. So that's your pelvic clocks. Work on those, and you can add a little bit of pelvic floor to this as we draw the body forwards into that pelvic tilt. Similarly, that you can do that exactly the same lying supine on the mat. And that is a great way to watch television in the evenings. You could maybe sit on this as a replacement for your chair for about 45 minutes a day, and you could do these exercises while you were seated. So there's lots of different ways you can utilize this into your working day rather than actually just going, I'm going to designate X amount of time for exercise.